Hello, and welcome to CHUB Cast, where we review 2 albums an episode spanning across a multitude of genres, with your hosts.
My name is Zach Smith.
And I'm the bassist.
And I'm Ben, and I'm the vocalist.
The one who plays the guitar is me, Greg.
I'm Kyle, and I hit stuff with sticks.
All the way from Brighton, UK, combined, we make up the band CHUB. I hope you enjoy the podcast.
Hello! Welcome to episode 8 of CHUBCast. This week we're covering the acclaimed reggae / hip-hop crossover by Nas and Damian, Junior Gang Marley, Distant Relatives, and Angry Boy Bash Your Face in nihilistic sludgy hardcore outfit Left Behind's latest album, No One Goes to Heaven. We'll announce next week's albums at the end of the show, and if you want to get involved, you can leave a comment of your thoughts on of those news, the ones we haven't reviewed yet, on this episode, and then next week we'll get over to them. But if you're watching on YouTube, leave a comment on the video. If you're on Spotify or Apple Music, you can email us at chubtheband@gmail.com, or you can tweet us using the hashtag ChubView. Also follow us on social media. All the links are in the description. It helps us out a buttload. Help us expose our chub to the world, please.
Very good.
Don't forget to drink along at home.
Yes.
What are we talking about?
God knows you'll have to get through this. Showing our chub to the world.
Yeah, I was a bit distracted there.
I blacked out for a second there.
Also, had our first practice since the apocalypse started last week, and fucking smashed it.
Hooray!
Lads, right. Fucking
I played
smashed
bass.
It was fun.
I hit figs.
So fun.
It was good. So if
Big
Big
shout
Daddy
to
Boris
hurt my
lets us,
throat.
we're gonna get some recording done by the end of the year, hopefully. So we'll finally get some tasty jams into your face.
Daddy Boris, let us out. We've been good.
Please, Daddy Boris, can I go play outside?
Been nice.
I've got
Good
Stockholm
boys.
Syndrome for you. Is that how it works? You just acknowledge it? Please, Captain, I have Stockholm Syndrome. Let me out. I love you. You've proven your
I
worth.
love you. I've always loved you.
Anyway,
Yeah, it's a great.
we're going to start off this week by just jumping straight into the first one that I've written on my list to make things easy for me. Haha.
Oh,
And it's,
hold on. Look at Facebook chat.
What?
I was wondering why Greg was being still.
Oh.
No, what?
God damn it!
Blue screen of death.
Yeah, it's a blue screen.
Oh my god.
Starting off this week, we're going to jump straight into the first one on my notebook thing because it makes it easier for me, haha. Which is "No One Goes to Heaven" by Left Behind. So Ben, give us the skinny.
Left Behind. They're a relatively new sort of. Some people would describe them as metalcore. Some people describe them as hardcore. Some people describe them as hardcore. It's kind of one of those bands where it's slotted safely into the subgenre sandwich right there, and it's anything you can make of it. Subgenre sandwich.
sandwich.
Oh.
Get a
thought it was
subgenre.
They were, I think they're from West Virginia in America, in Charleston, and they were formed in 2012, so relatively new. Been going around for a little bit, and this was their second album after their debut.
Okay.
And it's I'll let you guys go first. What did you think about the album?
Pick one of us, Ben.
You should go, Zach, because you spoke first. Ha
Oh dear.
Hammer has been dropped.
Alright, what are they called again?
Left behind.
Behind. Oh, I keep forgetting because it's such a shit name. But anyway.
Your memory left them behind.
I wish I made that joke. Oh. Yeah, they're just really heavy, aren't they, Ben? Incredibly heavy. I plonked them on. Guess what? I was doing the washing
Doing
up.
the washing up.
Yeah, I was. And I just put them on. You said last week that they were hardcore, right? I think.
I think that's it.
So I was expecting the hell, and I'd argue that I got the hell, but just a lot more serious hell. And that's when I realised that I much prefer my hardcore when it's being fucking stupid.
Silly.
Like,
Yeah.
I find it, if I don't already know a band, me personally, I find it hard to take a band that seriously if they're too serious business. That's just me, though. But like, unlike the hell, where I was just like, yeah, I can get behind this. I like dicks and groove hammers and shit. Let's go. But this, I was just like, I'm angry now. I'm angry. I've been angry for 43 minutes.
Yeah, I feel like the lyrics were very, life fucking sucks. I'm sad and everything is meaningless. Like,
It was very like the Torch in that way.
oh, I feel like this is way
throwback.
worse than like the Torch. Like,
Just for the
having said
lyrical
that-
content, I don't know.
Maybe, yeah. Having said that, though, I thought it was way more diverse than the hell.
Really?
Yeah, personally, there's some of their breakdowns sounded really cool. Hell rains up from above. First song. For some reason, I wrote down it reminds me of Finding Nemo and or Gojira.
why fucking Nemo?
I think.
You're gonna have to expand on that.
Oh no! Fuck. Fuck! I should have elaborated in my notes.
Whilst you're washing up,
It's because there was
Maybe it's just
water.
because you
Yeah.
were looking at loads of water, and you're just like,
God damn it! I should have had a second listing on these notes. I guess I really like the first breakdown in Hell Rains from Above. It reminds me of Finding Nemo or Gojira. Anyway, Kai, what did you think of
They
the
are
album?
the two things are very similar.
Wait,
Finding
no,
Gojira,
I know. I remember. It's because it sounded like a whale. And there's that bit in Finding Nemo that's like, boo, boo, boo. And Gojira has whales.
Okay.
It's like Dory going.
Yeah. Yeah, and Gojira
I don't know what
and their whales.
Yeah, Gojira do like whale.
They
And
do.
Gojira do have that song "Flying Whales," so
Yeah,
Exactly. Oh dear.
the circle is complete.
Shut the door, but hang on.
I was gonna say, yeah, I thought it was a savage beatdown for like 45 minutes straight. I love the guitar tone. I've put it on like on my notes for like every single one of these songs. Like the guitar tone's so sick. I love how crunchy it is. I love how like it feels like I'm being like had a womp on top of me over and over again for 45
womp.
minutes.
Oh,
Yeah.
from Mario.
Yeah.
I just got smashed into oblivion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I'm just lying there and I've just accepted my death, like the lead singer has. I'm just like, I'm not gonna go to heaven. Take me, womp.
What we need is before a breakdown in one of our songs, we need it just go or whatever. Also, Greg died again.
Oh no!
Oh
It's
no!
No one goes to heaven. I thought it was okay. It was, I don't know. In my opinion, I've been doing a lot of soul searching about why I didn't vibe with it all that much. I've realized I went back and listened to some like the Torch, and I think I've realized what was this hardcore.
Hardcore.
No,
Yeah.
it was hard, dude.
Yeah, so I figured
Hard.
I
was
quite
cool,
liked
hard,
the
hard,
hell,
cool,
but I'm
cool.
more like it's like it's pigeon genre. Oh, no, not pigeon. It's like crow genre. Oh, cool.
I like pigeon. though.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I think what the conclusion I've come to is I much prefer metalcore to hardcore, purely because it seems to me to be more diverse and it features more vocal more range of guitar
Singing.
work. Yeah, I got a little bit of the same Lost Society problem from this album, where after a few songs in, I knew exactly what was coming next, and I actually did a bit of an experiment. I skipped to random points in different songs all over the album, like really quickly, and genuinely they all sounded exactly the same wherever I clicked. So I, although for the pure heaviness of it, I really did enjoy it, and I had a great headbangy time, and I wasn't hungover this time, so I did enjoy it more than Lost Society. But
Yeah.
no,
That would help.
I'm not gonna lie, I found it a little bit samey. I agree with what Carl said about the guitar tone sounding really good, and he's got a great voice. And
Well, I didn't say
can't
that.
fault the...
Definitely didn't
No,
say.
no, no. But I was saying that. But yeah, and I can't fault the pure heaviness of it. But I just think I need more variety within the album, but also within each song and within each instrument.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just felt that it was a bit of a one-trick pony for me.
Well, you said to me that you
To be fair,
preferred Light the Torch because of it had melody.
Mm.
Like,
Yeah,
did you already say that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I said something like that. Yeah.
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 And I have to agree with that, to be honest. That's why I
Well-
love a monomarth and shit like that. 'Cause it's
Yeah,
just got
for
like
sure.
flow.
I was gonna say, like, it's coming back to what you said about the hell. It's like maybe there's too many breakdowns, and it's like like I think the guitar tone and how crushing it is fucking sick. I love that sort of tone and that sort of stuff in songs. But when that's all it is, it gets it loses its punch. So, like, for example, if they had thrown a bit more melody in here and then they'd suddenly switched it up to some of those proper, like, you know, really heavy guitar, that would have been sick. Like, it really emphasizes that heaviness more. Whereas if it's like, okay, I just listened to a song that was crushingly heavy and then the next one starts and it's just the same, I'm like, oh, well, you know,
yeah, that's for sure. So as an album, it's definitely like, and this is one of my favorite albums from 2019. I think listening to it from the whole way through again, I kind of realized I was like, oh, a lot of their songs really do sound the same.
yeah.
It's not well like kind of hard. It's kind of hard to describe because they're like sort of samey at the same time. Like there's variation within sameness. I don't know how to articulate it.
How would you?
Well-
Sorry, Raysan. How would you compare it to other bands of the same genre? Because I don't really have much experience with hardcore. Would you say like they do anything that's noticeably different from other
Yeah,
sort of
so these
vaguely similar
guys-
bands?
Definitely. So these guys are more metal hardcore. So the big variation that I think I have that especially the singer has, or the shouter, I guess, the vocalist has with a lot of other hardcore bands is that he's a lot more heavier and like his voice is a lot deeper and it kind of resonates more with the sort of metally kind of chunky tones that a lot of other hardcore bands don't necessarily have. Like if you listen to like Knocked Loose or like Code Orange or anything like that, those hardcore bands kind of like they're more sort of running at a higher octave, I guess. Whilst because everything's really, really like crunchy and sort of metally inspired, there's a lot of like more a monomarth screaming rather than like hell screaming, if that makes sense. I guess it's kind of just where they get their kind of instrumentation and their influence in that respect, which is, I think is why I appreciated it a lot more than the hardcore bands that I've kind of just been a bit like meh about because they're slightly leaning more on the metally side. Because some of the riffs are really, really gross. Okay.
I was gonna say like a lot of this album borderlined on like sludge to me. Like a lot of the riffs were like super sludgy or like even doomy.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
like especially with the vocals, like the very he kind of keeps the same cadence and vocal tone for most of the album. So it's kind of like the main like driving force in the album is that. And I found it a bit grating because like I mean like my favorite hardcore band is Code Orange. and I feel like they wouldn't be the same if it was just the guy singer or screamer, the guy who just sings. Like both him and the guy in this band scream like they are doing it through gritted teeth all the time.
Yeah.
And then like, but Code Orange has like female vocals and like other clean vocals mixed in. I think it keeps it fresh. Whereas like for me, like this album is very like, I thought the vocalist, he sounded a lot like Hatebreed or Five Finger Death Punch, which I mentioned in the car and you were not impressed. But I don't like
Hatebreed with. I don't know about Hatebreed.
Oh, you don't like Five Finger Death Punch?
I fucking hate him, dude.
Oh, I really like him.
I just feel like they're too
to be honest,
American military buffs, you know. It's pretty cringe to me.
But would you say that about like Sabaton?
I feel like, I don't know. I feel like they're not. I don't know. It's like the kind of bro culture, really.
Well,
thing.
Sabaton sing about history. I don't think Five Finger Death Punch sing about history.
No, true.
No, Sabaton is
I don't know if
strictly
they're 100%
history.
serious either.
Five Finger Death Punch on that sing. I don't know much about them. Anyway, I think
like vocally wise,
as my favorite band is Airborne, I for one am insulted that you say that you finally went back and listened to this entire album, Ben, after loving it and realizing every song sounds the same. I can't relate to that, coming from someone who loves AC/DC and Airborne and such. I don't know what you're on about.
I feel like it's kind of, I could definitely see like the similarities between all of them, and I was just like, it's the same time. I think, well, for me, one of the things as well is that I like listening to albums and listening and like reading all the lyrics and stuff at the same time, especially in like a new project that I like hear like one song. The one that my can't remember where I found it. It was Peeling Wax. That was their like single, I think. And then that's what introduced me to the rest of the album. And like reading through the lyrics and stuff, it was just so like ET and like it's like yeah. I feel like a lot, depending on what your outlook is and your mental and how you treat mental health and stuff as well. Like, I know that's a bit of a deep topic, but for me, my mental punching bag, which makes me feel better, is music. So if I'm feeling angry, listening to angry music makes me feel better because it's cathartic. So I feel like at a time where I had a lot of pent up aggression, listening to this album was therapeutic in a way, because he was just like, no one goes to heaven. I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, no.
You can't argue with that, it being therapeutic. I can 100% agree with you on that. Definitely. That's where my thrash bands come in when I need some anger release.
Exactly.
I'm just like,
I think those dishes.
yeah. Fucking.
That's one way to clean them. Just chuck them out the window. Bust a few ones.
Yeah, they're not clean if there's no dish.
I wanted to return slightly to something Carl said. You compared it to sludge or like stoner metal. I also noticed, because the only information I was able to find on these guys was like a Bandcamp page, and it was listed on there as like stoner sludge metal, and I actually wrote in my notes they're like a really angry Electric Wizard, which I don't know if you guys have ever listened to Electric Wizard.
Yeah,
I think I've seen them at Bloodstock.
It's that same like low down filth, but imagine it played at like -5 times the speed and like on a lot of drugs, and that's
okay. So is it a lot slower then, like?
Yeah, it's like Caius is an example of stoner metal, but Electric Wizard is like even more slow and like dirgy than that.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. One of the things. Sorry, go for it.
I was just gonna say one part of what I got from this album.
Yeah, I was gonna say I feel like this album was like instrumentally was absolutely amazing, but yeah, it was just the vocals that kind of killed it towards the end for me, especially like listening to it all in sequence. So I think like, because in other sludge stuff, the vocals they normally have like, especially because they're from Virginia anyway, they tend to like, my favorite sludge has that kind of southern drawl going on, you know, It's like, have you guys ever listened to Red Fang or like even like early Mastodon? Like they've got
No.
kind of
I've listened to
a bit
Mastodon.
more. Yeah, they've got a bit of a drawl to it, and like there's kind of sung vocals, but they're like more like bluesy sort of. Yeah, like so it kind of if they mixed up a little with that as well as the shouted vocals, I think it would be a great album.
Oh, dude, Mastodon singer on this album would have been absolutely sick. That would have been great.
Yeah.
Give it that slightly trippy, slightly like Burning Man vibe.
I feel like a lot of the for me the album personally did a bit of like a bell curve, so for like my interests. So like the first 4 or 5 songs up to like Peeling Wax, really, really, really strong for me. A lot of the riffs, and there's a lot of variation and like really, really disgusting breakdowns. In the middle kind of dips a bit where it starts to sound a bit samey, and then it gets better again at the end with songs like Outside the Body, and I can't remember what the other song was.
Mirror, Prisoner of Mine.
Mirror.
I really like Prisoner of Mine.
Yeah. I think the last few tracks are really, really good. So it completely understands the samey kind of aspect that they had, because I got that as well, like completely, and I was just like, oh shit. At the same time, like I feel like made me appreciate the smaller things in there as well. Can never really like.
Oh
no!
Make that big.
I can't hear you, Ben.
Oh, you came back now.
No, and you're
We're
gone
here?
again.
yeah.
Oh, you're here now.
Now you are. Yeah. Now you're gone. Oh no, back.
Am I? Whoa! Where am I?
I can hear you now, but you keep cutting out for me.
Oh, is it my? That's bad because this is my work headset and I don't want it. Am I good?
Yeah.
I think so.
Ish.
Yeah. Even though sometimes it could be a bit of a drag and it was a bit samey, it also made me appreciate like the smaller nuances that are in there here and there, and also I just love being punched in the face with music.
Oh yeah, the riffs definitely punch you in the face. I actually wrote that down. The riffs just punch you in the face. What's it called? The end riff for Throwing Stones is just a good example of that.
Oh yeah.
I was just doing the dishes, like just punching this plate. You didn't know what happened, what was coming. So
Smashing ceramic into your hand, like.
Yeah. Do we have any final points before we? Greg.
It's not exactly a final point, but I was just going to mention one small detail following on from what Ben was saying that I really appreciated. It happened a couple of times, but probably most notably in the first track, Hell Rains From Above. So do you guys know what a pinch harmonic is on guitar?
No.
Like a what?
So yeah, it's where you play the note, but it's like way higher pitched, and it's like it's what you asked me to do with that riff, Zach, that was recorded.
Oh yeah, I love that shit.
Yeah, that's called a pinch harmonic. And it's a big thing in like heavy breakdowns. They'll be like boom, 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 like that. And they did something really strange in Hell Rains From Above. He does that with the pinch harmonic, and then the second one that he does is like a totally different sound. And I don't think it came from the guitar because I have no idea how he would make that sound.
That'd be the whale, I think.
I think possibly, yeah. But that was really interesting for me. I was like, I've never heard that in a riff before. That was really cool.
Oh, mate, maybe you could nab it and make your own version for one of our breakdowns.
Well, like I said, I don't think it came from a guitar. I think there was like some sort of synthy bollocks, but it sounded really cool, and they worked it into the guitar riff, which I thought was very inventive.
Oh, cool. Maybe he had like an effect pedal or something, which he just stomp
Possibly,
and stomp again. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it'd be something like that. Something above my head.
The whole instrumentation in the album is fantastic. Like that's the carrying force for me personally. It's just like the whole, and to be honest, like I know Carl didn't like it, but the vocals for me, this is probably my favorite like heavy vocalist I've ever listened to.
Oh really?
Like Yeah, like I'd
Cool.
give him that much like props because
Another one a
I was like I wish I could sound like that. Like 'cause it just sounds so like
Who would win in a fight? Johan, whoever his name is from Monomath, or this guy? But they can only use their voice.
I feel like this guy would probably just lie down and come over being punched by Johan by the fucking context of this album. Like, this dude likes being punched. Like,
Going straight by the lyrics, yeah.
yeah, like, this guy, like literally the song "Throwing Stones." He's literally talking about like he's got no reason to live anymore, so he just goes and upsets people just to get himself in trouble. You know, he's just going and throwing stones just to feel something. So he'd see Johan and be like, "That guy looks like he could beat me up," and he'd go like start grinding on him or something.
He's gonna be like, I'm gonna go throw his runes.
I feel like you conflate depression with aggression sometimes. Like I don't
This
when I look
guy
at the
is
lyrics
both
and I
of
read
those things. He's aggressive because he's depressed. He literally says in some of the
Yeah.
songs that like he's so depressed that he doesn't even care anymore. So he's just doing anything that makes him feel something. So
I think that's
like,
better than lying there and being a bitch about it.
I guess so. Yeah.
I mean, he's a front
I
man
guess
of a cool band, so he did something.
Yeah.
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 Okay,
So
maybe
one,
he'd go
one for a
punch him and
psychologist
then
to figure
let
out.
himself lose.
Yeah,
Or
maybe
being
he would cry afterwards.
All right, final points and then
Ross crying,
ratings,
that's
shall we? Do we have any more final verdicts, final things?
I've
Final?
said my piece, I think.
I have said
No.
my
Final
piece.
call.
Yeah.
All right, let's start with the guy who picked the album this time. Don't know if you've done that.
Whoa! Switching it up.
Sorry, man.
So my final thoughts, like I said, my favorite songs were sort of all the songs that like towards the beginning, towards the end. To be honest, is the majority of them anyway. So it's everything like up to Killing Wax, and then everything after outside the body. That's still like eight or nine songs on the whole album, which were me like phenomenal. The riffs were crazy. It was really really chunky. There's really, really great breakdowns towards the middle section or towards the end of a lot of the songs. They just had a single released as well, which I just wanted to plug as well, called "Waiting for the End," which is their music video for that song. It's an Animal Crossing compilation. It's,
No way.
it's the same as yeah, it's the same kind of stuff as the stuff on this album. You know, heavy vocals, disgusting breakdowns, everything like that. But they got fans to give in like videos of their Animal Crossing stuff, and then it's just a compilation of Animal Crossing.
That's amazing.
Well, if you can't get out the house to film a
guys.
music video, why
I'd
not?
recommend
That fact
it's
might have
only-
actually.
Oh, sorry, Greg.
It might save this band.
I think I think it's bumped my rating up a point. I'm not gonna lie.
If
That's
after this,
hilarious.
give that song a listen. It's for me, it's definitely a banger because it's probably going to be on the new album that they'll release. Also, yeah, it's got Animal Crossing there, which is just so funny.
I'm gonna have to show
but-
Claire that.
In regards to the actual album, yeah, one of my favorite heavy vocalists. If I was ever going to do like metalcore or anything like that, I would aspire to be like this guy. And it just was definitely one of my favorite albums of 2019. What can I say?
Nice. What would you rate it?
Oh, shit, yeah, I'd rate it I'd rate it probably. I'm gonna say an 8 out of 10 because
Okay.
there are songs on there that for me don't feel that good, and do feel a bit samey. But the stuff that is there, which is to be honest the majority of it, is incredible, and it's stuff that I've been playing pretty much every day. Like,
Hell yeah. Nice.
Nice.
Pick one of us to go, Ben. Go. Come on. Let's do this.
Greg.
Ooh. Well, and I've been quite negative about it. I actually did stick a whole bunch of the songs on my playlist. I think it's another one of those situations where I like the individual songs a lot more than I like the album overall.
Yeah, same.
I did pick a few favorites. Basically they were just the ones that stuck out to me as like the filthiest, or the ones that had a slight variation from the theme. So I liked Hell Rains from Above. Peeling Wax was my number one favorite off the album. That song's sick. And I really liked Staring at the Sun. I thought he had really good vocals in that one. Overall, I was gonna give it a 5 because I did have a lot of issues with it, but I gave Lost Society a 5, and I found this one to be a lot more listenable in that it didn't give me a headache. So I'm actually going to give it a 6.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hey.
Kyle.
I have pretty much the same thing to say about as Greg. Yeah. I mean, like, there's a bunch of songs on here that absolutely kick my ass, and like, if I've favorited a few of them, and if they came on, I'd probably lose my shit. Same as the Hell, really, though, where it's like a lot of them individually, I couldn't really tell you out of all of them individually which ones really stood out to me, because it is quite samey in places. I had the same favorite songs as well, but I also really liked Eternity of Empty. But yeah, and Staring at the Sun was probably one of my favorites on the album too. And yeah, exact same as Greg. I give it a 6 out of 10. I think as an album, it's not that strong because it's quite like it's just more of the same. But the stuff that is on there is kick-ass. Like I think like a song or two at a time, absolutely amazing. But 45 minutes of it is just a bit much for me.
Definitely belongs on a shuffle playlist for sure.
Yeah. I feel like albums as a whole, I've just grown up with the first like music device I ever owned was an MP3 player that had shuffle only. So, and I've never been a CD guy. When I was a teenager, I was a massive nerd, so I'd just play games to pass the time, and I'd only ever listen to music on long car journeys. So, it's a lot of these albums that we review are shuffle albums for me. I think I put all of the Hell on my bangers playlist, but that's just because I love stupid shit. But yeah, crunchy fucking riffs, wails, and I gave it a 5 out of 10 just because, top of the hump.
A strong 5, as your boy Fantano would say.
So yeah.
Let's move on to fucking Distant Relatives by Damian Marley and Nas. Go on, Greg.
Indeed. Oh, righty. So, yeah, as you said, this is Distant Relatives by Nas and Damian Junior Gun Marley. I would describe it as quite an idiosyncratic album, if I was going to use a fancy word. It's not really like anything else I've ever listened to. It means unique unto itself. No, not like anything else, really.
Can't argue with that.
As I think I mentioned last week, it's a fusion album of reggae and hip hop. Nas is a rapper, quite well known, very well known, very respected in the rap game. And Damian Marley, you may know him from the song Jam Rock. He is a reggae artist who you might also know as the son of Bob Marley. And in 2010 they decided to get together to do this album. I don't know if you would necessarily call it a concept album, but it is very heavily themed around the idea of essentially the relations between Africa and African Americans, and more broadly, the relations between all of humanity on the globe. Hence the title, Distant Relatives.
All right.
What did you think?
I thought I like this album a lot more than I expected to be honest. Because I really don't like reggae normally, much for the same reasons of hardcore has been quite boring, because I find quite a lot of it quite repetitive. I feel like you have to be in the right mood to really sit and listen to reggae. But this album was actually really diverse, I thought. Like, I think most of the songs were quite unique in their own way. Like, and I really like Damian Marley's voice. I feel like his delivery is really cool. He sounds unlike most other artists in the game. Like, he's obviously got that very Marley Jamaican vibe going on, but he's also quite hip hop, and he is rapping. I think it sounds really cool and unique. Previously I'd only heard him off of Make It Bond Him with Skrillex,
The classic.
But yeah, I've not heard anything else by him. But it turns out, yeah, he's quite prolific, and so are the whole Marley family. It's kind of crazy. There's like 6 of them all releasing music currently at the moment.
Really?
Yeah, like so Damian's older brother Steven's on one of these songs. He's on I didn't write it down, but he's on one of these songs and he's also a musician. Then there's also Ziggy Marley. Then there's also the daughter of, I think, Stephen, whose name is... She had a really cool name, like Mercy Marley or something like that. And she's also a musician. So there's quite a few of Bob Marley's sons and daughters and their sons and daughters in the music biz.
The Marley dynasty.
That's cool.
Yeah, exactly.
I like that. I agree with you that Damian Marley's voice is awesome. Sorry, Greg.
Go on, Greg.
I was just going to add a brief adjunct onto what you just said. I think it was only the one Marley brother that worked on this album, but did you guys read the Wikipedia article for this album?
No.
There's a metric shit ton of people worked on this album. Like, there's a huge list on Wikipedia. It's like, I swear to God, 50 people are credited on this album.
Really?
Jesus
Christ.
They use a lot of samples and stuff, in fairness. Like, so maybe they had to do that.
Wow.
Yeah,
Shame
I was
there
going to
can't
say,
be
like...
a credits roll at the end.
Yeah. Just have one bonus track, like, on this album, we're featuring!
Special thanks to... Someone.
Yeah. People. Yeah, I thought lyrically, almost all of the songs were had very clear and important messages. Like Tribes at War is a kind of shout out to Africans and their relatives about ceasing the fighting against each other and stopping killing each other because of whilst they were too busy, like they're saying people in Africa were too busy fighting each other and fighting other tribes and stuff than to fight off the examples he uses are Uncle Sam and the British Queen. So if we all like came together, we can do big things and stuff. Like I found out from the Wikipedia article that Nas is part of like this religious sect called are they called like, I'm gonna get this completely wrong now, I didn't write it down, but he's part of some religious sect called like 69ers or something, where they're like...
Not sure.
Yeah, 69ers. I didn't look into it much, but it seems... Yeah.
He's very Christian, he raps about it a lot.
69 is an unfortunate name.
I thought that was a baseball team.
I thought it was a sex position.
I think you're right, actually. I think it is. Also that. It's a good number. It's a popular number.
Yeah.
It's it was like something percenter or something.
That's an also unfortunate name.
He's not like a fucking Seventh-day Adventist or something, is he? Oh, okay.
No, he is a part of the 5% Nation, which is a splinter group of the Nation of Islam, which is the group that Malcolm X was part of. So
they have a lot to do with like
African American sect sort of thing.
I believe maybe Muhammad Ali was as well. They're big in the Black Liberation movement.
Yeah.
That's a lot different to 69.
Yeah, I know. I don't know where
Hey, that's part of liberation as well, man. Don't you?
What was I gonna say? Yeah, like the beats are really diverse. There's cool like uses of brass. Like the features that they had were interesting. They had like bits of like lyrics in Somalian, and they had like they had a sample of this Malian duo singing in Malian. They had the last song had there was Somalian lyrics, and then they had Joss Stone on there with Lil Wayne, which I never thought I'd hear a verse sung by Joss Stone and Lil Wayne.
Who's Joss Stone?
She's like a pop singer, but she's a British white lady, and then everybody else is like Lil Wayne and the Marleys and like African people, and then it's like, and here's Joss Stone. Like...
Maybe they met at a party or something, and he's like, "Hey, do you want to be on our album?" She's like,
Or they forgot to get a female singer, and they were like, "Shit! Oh, is that Is that just on? Please.
Well, she does the gospel vocals on My Generation, and she absolutely nails it. She sounds great on that track. So
Really?
who knew?
Cool.
I just went ahead and assumed that was a black lady. She has a great
no,
voice.
it's a fucking British woman, British
Oh,
50-year-old
wow.
white lady.
Props to Just Stone. She sounded really good.
Yeah, exactly.
I love
But yeah, I
gospel.
think I've
So
gone on
good.
now.
All right.
Go on, Ben. What do you think? I'm taking control.
So here's the thing. So I feel like reggae is very much like kind of like the coriander of music, in where if you put it in the right dish, it can be really, really good.
I love how your
Like-
analogies
like
are
I-
always food related.
Most relatable thing.
We haven't
Like,
had a
for me,
cheese metaphor yet this episode.
Oh yeah. Well, neither of them were particularly cheesy, I don't think. But like coriander, if you put it in the right thing, it melds with all the other flavors. It can be amazing. Like, I mean, Bob Marley, like just by itself, is just he's the god of reggae. People, he's amazing. And Skin Dread as well. I feel like because we're metal fans, obviously reggae mixed with metal is just it's amazing, and we all love it. Where I feel like it falls short is where it heavily contrasts with things that I'm not particularly that fond of. So I don't really like jungle, for example, is like reggae mixed with like electronic.
Yeah.
And that's just horrible. I have so many horrible memories of being in Blue Bar, sitting there, and it's just constant jungle in the background. I'm already drunk, and then I think I would appreciate jungle a lot more if it wasn't for that one experience, but because that was so bad.
Wait, explain the
Every time
experience for our listeners at home.
Take
We
more drugs,
there's-
bro.
Yeah, literally. Like we were off our nut, and we were in a night in the town in Eastbourne. Obviously the place to be on a Friday or Saturday night.
Home of reggae.
We went to this little bar called Blue Bar, which is around the corner somewhere.
Bit of a dive.
Bit of a dive, yeah.
Little
But
bit.
it's our dive. It's our dive.
Yeah.
And they play a variation of music from time to time because they've got loads of varied people. There's this one spot that's kind of near under the stairs, which has got like a L sofa that we like to sit on. And just right where that sofa is, there's a huge speaker situated basically above your head. And I was sitting there and all night, and you could barely move because like either sit across the other room where your friends aren't, or just stand, which no one wants to do when they're beamed off their face. And it was just like and I was just like, this is who enjoys this? I'm sorry if you enjoy jungle. I don't mean to rip on other people's music taste, but I just was
tear 'em down.
so bad.
Hey, Pendulum's first album, Jungle Sound Gold, fucking banger, dude. That album's sick.
Probably, but I won't be able to enjoy it now.
I'm actually with you on the hate and jungle thing. I really didn't rate Pendulum's Jungle album. Like in general, I do find jungle quite repetitive and samey.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say actually though, did I ever show you guys Baptasia?
No.
No.
What you just did, Ben, fully reminded me of Baptasia. You need to go look it up. It's jungle music with that full-on like rapping, but set to like mega church American like mass preachers doing their fucking Jesus dance, speaking in tongues and stuff.
Oh my god,
It's incredible, and everyone should watch it. Yeah.
that sounds amazing. I think that. See, that's when it might actually be quite good because it's funny. So with that tangent out of the way in regards to jungle, I feel like this mixture was in the coriander and something that, for me personally, didn't really mix that well with. Like, there was a heavy contrast between really sort of almost laid back, chilled, kind of nice vocals that Damian Marley was providing, and then just this really like it's not like Nas doesn't have like the kind of flow that's sort of relaxed and kind of like it complements Marley. I feel like they kind of conflict when they're together because his is quite like oh kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
I felt like a lot of people might enjoy that, but for me that contrast really juxtaposed against each other, and I just could not get into it at all. I was like oh, like I feel like rap and reggae could work together. I feel like because they were so different in their deliveries, for me personally, it just didn't like I didn't like the taste at all. I feel like maybe if they had a different kind of rapper in there, not to hate on Nas because he is a good rapper, you know, he's quite esteemed and quite acclaimed in the genre, but I just didn't think it worked very well. Like it just really put me off. I found the stuff that actually Damian Marley was in mostly by himself. Those were the best tracks. Go Greg.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you. I think in terms of like different rappers, I would say Nas, in a way, he is actually quite relaxed compared to a lot of other rappers. I'm trying to think of good examples, like Emilio Lopez or the guy from Jedi Mind Tricks, whose name I'm gonna forget. He's really famous and he's really angry all the time. I can't remember, but
Kylo Ren.
that's the guy.
He is quite famous and angry.
Yeah. No, this guy's much less of a white boy. I can't remember his name. Jedi Mind Tricks is his group anyway. I felt Nas actually, he really reined it in on this album. And like Carl said, it's quite varied. So there's different songs. Like they're both, I think Nas probably, you're right in that his style didn't change much throughout the album, but I feel like Damian's style did actually change quite a lot from song to song. So, for example, in Namin, later on in the album, they're both doing that kind of angry, like more sort of gangster approach, and they're both like rapping. Whereas in a song like Leaders or Friends, Damian Marley, like the bit that you said that you enjoyed, he's doing the really chill, sort of more sonorous vocals, while Nas is providing the gangster bit. And I would just say, early speaking, second cut, whether whatever you think of it musically, it does fit the theme of the relations between kind of the African influence and the sort of American African American influence. Like Nas is providing that side of things.
Yeah, I was gonna say like some of the songs though, like the juxtaposition worked really well. Like Greg, you just mentioned Friends, and that's just a song about how important real friends are and how shit fake friends are. And in that song, like Damian did like the hook, and he did all of the more like soothing parts about like how important it is to have real friends and how much of a lifesaver they are and how much they'll put themselves out there for you. Whereas Nas is like the very gangster, like fake friends are fucking shit. They're not going to do shit for you. They're just going to take their money and run away from you. And like obviously the juxtaposition there works because they're talking about two contrasting kinds of people and stuff. But yeah, I agree. I didn't feel it was jarring, to be honest. Yeah.
Found that I was just speaking from just a purely musical taste view. Felt like lyrically and like how they actually delivered it not only like worked because obviously it works lyrically because you know the lyrics were really good. It also touched on a lot of like really poignant kind of stuff with sort of like the relations between, you know, African Americans and Africans. And I think yeah, you're right in like stylistically because it draws upon the influences of those countries and continents, and that's why it could work. Feel if you enjoyed that, so I can appreciate that from like a sympathy point of view. Like for me, a lot of it kind of just didn't like it. This is actually one of the first. This is actually one of the first albums that I gave up after I got in heavy. I got up to Narmeen, and that's when I just gave up after that because I was just like, I can't do anymore.
Damn, you're so
I
close to
felt
the
like
end.
I know I was really really close, and I was just like, I think it was like just after because I think I was doing it whilst I was working. I was like just sort of listening whilst I was just doing like easy stuff like emails. But for the most part, like it was alright. But then I just got to the point where I was just like, do this anymore. Like,
Hell yeah. I think it's, Ben, before this podcast started, or no, it was about 2 episodes in, I asked you all what your least favourite genres were, and you said that you didn't have a least favourite genre, you like everything. So I'd like to say that you're a liar, and I hate you. So
I guess I found it in jungle, I suppose. Yeah, jungle's my least favorite genre now.
I didn't actually know what jungle was. I mean,
Don't bother.
I'm so like
Don't bother.
I don't know much about reggae. I have a few things to say about this album. As someone that doesn't like reggae or rap, this album didn't like settle with me that well. I find the reason why I haven't been talking much is because I don't really have much to say, because I was listening to it when I was working out and it didn't really do much for me, like, at all. And not because it was bad, just because it's just I didn't like it, like, personally. I like that.
I mean, it's not a working out album.
No,
Sorry to interject.
that's true. I like that song about school. Which one was that called? We need to teach our children or something. That was, I really like that one.
My Generation. Yeah, the whole song was about the new generation, younger people, and
I really
how
like
great
that
they're
one.
gonna be.
I really
that was
like
a good
that
song.
one. But yeah, like as I said before the podcast as well, this album isn't on Apple Music, and if it is, I'm being an idiot. So I had to listen to it on YouTube, and in between every song, so I don't have ad block because I like YouTubers getting paid. I I had an advert between every single song, which kind of ruined the album for me. And I was just like, fucking adverts, stop! But yeah, I don't really have much to say about it. Other than Damian Marley, I really like his voice. Like, his voice could caress me. He could stroke my hair and sing me a lullaby as I'm going to bed. That'd be lovely.
Maybe you should try some of his solo stuff then.
I was actually.
Greg had his hand up.
Oh, sorry, that wasn't the correct.
It's true, I did. New rules. No, it's just a quick point. I was going to say, since you're obviously not a big like rap / hip hop fan, in just the time that we've been doing this podcast, you have listened to at least 2 hip hop albums. I was going to ask, how would you compare, from a sort of layman's point of view, Nas's rapping to Dave's, maybe?
Okay.
3 now,
well,
probably.
I think
Dirty
it's
Dike,
hard
Dave,
to
and-
like.
Oh yeah, and Dirty Dike.
And Dirty Dike, yeah, 3. I think Nas is probably. I think Dave's my favorite, followed by Dirty Dike, followed by Nas, and I think it's Ben's point of the. I personally didn't think the two gelled together, but I completely understand like what you said as well, Greg. So like about like Nas being American or African American, and Damian coming from like the other background, and like them gelling together. Like when you said that, I was like, that's pretty cool actually. But I don't know, personally, I don't know. I'm gonna have to listen to more because to me, it all sounds the same.
I thought this album was so diverse, to be honest. Like, I'll let Ben go first. He put his hand up.
Hand up.
The hand has spoken.
Hand has spoken. I was
We
gonna
need a
say
pencil.
that this doing this podcast, we've listened to 3 rap albums, or albums that have rap on it at least. Definitely makes me appreciate diversity there is in there, because I mean, if you have like the examples that we do, like Dave, Nas, and Dirty Dike, like there is a huge variation between them. I feel like personally, whilst a lot of the lyrics all down are really, really good, I just didn't really like Nas's sort of flow and delivery. I don't know if that's just a personal taste thing, but I just didn't find his voice that like what sets him. I don't know, like as a genuine question to Greg, what actually sets him apart from like different rappers? Because I find his vocal delivery quite generic almost. So I don't know why
Well, it's
would be
one of
hailed
those.
as quite.
If I may interject, it's one of those things with Nas in particular, like especially his album Illmatic, has been such a genre-defining album that like it sounds generic because he was the first guy to do that. Like he
Right,
was.
okay.
It's like you know you listen. Some people will listen to the Beatles and be like, it just sounds like really basic, and it's like at the time this was fucking revolutionary. Everybody else copied them
Right.
afterwards. And we've heard that loads in our lifetimes.
Mm.
But Nas was like the guy who came up with this kind of.
See him
this
like a
style of
group,
rapping.
like a collective.
No, he's just
no.
a solo rapper.
But in terms of like hip hop culture, it's exactly as Carl said. He's right up there with like Biggie and Tupac and the legends. Because especially as Carl said, his album Illmatic,
Go for it,
also Stillmatic. You won't find a rapper that doesn't like highly commend him, because he really did invent a lot of the things that are now almost cliche.
Yeah, exactly.
He's a true legend, and like I don't know, it's really hard to say with rappers what exactly sets them apart, because it's so personality based, and it's the cadence, it's the cadence of a voice, so it's really hard to like distinguish them from each other. To me,
maybe that's like. Oh, sorry. All I was gonna say is that maybe that's something that like throughout this podcast I'll eventually be able to appreciate with rap, because like the more we listen to stuff like that, the more I'll be able to be like, oh, okay, because I didn't realize that he was actually that big in the game, like
Yeah, I'd
that
never
much of a
heard of
name.
him.
Like, yeah, neither have I.
He's
Like,
huge.
He's considered to be like one of the top 5 rappers of all time by like
Really?
most hip hop artists since the 90s. Yeah, he's hugely influential. Yeah.
Listen to Illmatic, the album. It's amazing.
I guess he's not in Just Eat adverts then, or something.
Fucking Snoop Dogg.
Don't you-
one, I couldn't get
to
over
insult
that.
Snoop Dogg.
I will say though, I was quite disappointed, like where there's songs like "Strong Will Continue," "Tribes at War," "Friends," "Count Your Blessings." A lot of songs where it's like the main message that Damian is conveying are quite unique and important. Like "Tribes at War" is about what we mentioned, where there's like a lot of African people fighting each other when they should be uniting, is their message in that one. Or like "Strong Will Continue" is a message about people who get up and brush themselves off and carry on will do well. And it's like they're quite cool and like uplifting messages, but then Nas will come in with typical stuff about I've got a lot of money and I'm gonna shoot you with my gun, and I'm like, oh fuck.
That is
Like,
true.
it's just like,
Yeah, that is very
brought
true.
the tone down a bit on some of the songs. It was disappointing to see. Yeah.
You do get the feeling slightly on the album that not like Damian had the creative control and Nas was like, yeah, I'll rap on it.
It's like everyone's like politely clapping at a theater, and then he just comes out with a vuvuzela, like.
Do we have any final points before we go into our final ratings? Our verdict.
I learned a few things from this album.
Oh,
Like,
really?
in his own words, it's a song about God. And I was thinking to myself, isn't that a bit awkward? Because I don't know if Jah and God are really like the same thing in religion,
Yes, they are.
but they are.
They are.
And I found out it's because Jah is taken from Yahweh. Yeah. And then I also found
Rastafarians
out,
are Christians.
yeah. And then I also found out that the Jah in Jah is the same Jah from Hallelujah. Right?
Oh.
So,
I didn't know that.
bit of etymology for you there. Yeah, there's a few
Did
interesting
like
things.
that.
Also, there was another song which was they mentioned Guinness, and I was like, what the fuck are they talking about Guinness? That's not very.
I noticed that. Yeah.
Apparently in Jamaica, Guinness is really popular. It's like a national drink. over
Really?
there. I was like, what the
Oh.
fuck? Okay.
You go to
Apparently the
Jamaica, dude, I
Marleys love
fucking
some
love
Guinness.
Guinness.
Yeah.
Damn.
And the Irish also love marijuana.
Well,
We
full
really
circle,
are all
full
distant
circle.
relatives.
And both
Twins.
the Irish
They're
and black
twins.
people were oppressed, so come full circle. Ah.
God damn, they're basically the same.
And whoever did the guitar solos and stuff on some of the songs, I want to know why didn't they get credited as featured? Because they were sick. I
They
don't
might
get
have
that.
been in amongst the 50 people that got credited.
Read the Wikipedia page.
Maybe it was
Yeah.
that woman who did the gospel singing. She
Joss
just came in
Stone
and shredded.
smashing out
Shreds as well.
Damn, I hope so. Otherwise, I'm a new fan if she is.
Genuinely, so many people.
Any other final points?
I've said everything I want to say.
All right.
Oh yeah, sorry. I wanted to. Sorry. We doing ratings? Ratings?
Yeah, we're doing it now. Yeah, why not? Unless you have something
Yeah,
to
I
say.
guess.
It was gonna be stuff with the ratings.
I'll go on then, Ben.
You might as well go first.
So I'm speaking. I might. Oh, okay. No, you
Go on,
go, on,
son.
Greg.
What?
You
No,
go.
no, you go.
We're
No.
saying go.
There you go.
I refuse!
This
do
is
it,
good
Ben, you
podcast material.
Okay, fine.
You chose
Fine.
this.
So as much as I didn't personally enjoy it from a musical standpoint, I actually did like read a lot of the lyrics as I was going on, like whilst I know I was kind of like whilst I was working, so I kind of chipped off a bit of work to read. And
I'm telling Mr. Bulb.
Mr. Mr. Ball, Ben was being silly. Yeah, like the lyricism and everything, and like thematically, it was really really good. In that respect, even though I've been like slamming on it most of this time, I actually did enjoy that aspect. Favorite songs were "Strong Will Continue," and is it "Despair"? Is that how you spell despair?
Despair? No.
Despair.
Like
Yeah.
despair.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like, and I really, really liked the. I don't know what language it was that they were, that he was speaking in or singing in.
It's probably like
but
patois or something.
I think it was, yeah, something. There was,
On Despair.
yeah.
I want to say patois. I'm not sure.
Really don't want to like say it's one and it'd be the other because it's like whoopsie.
African.
Yes, that's what I didn't want to say. Like,
They're speaking African.
like be
Oh,
the whitest
nah, they're
person
speaking
in the
European. Come on, man.
Oh yeah, it was just Jamaican patois, yeah, on that
Patois.
song.
Yeah. So and like
Nailed
yeah,
it.
that was really good. But
Oh,
I
yeah.
felt like it was really a good thing listening to this album as well, because it's actually introduced me to Damian Marley, and I really really want to listen to more of his solo stuff because I love his delivery, I love everything like that. And I feel like to give him a go, I also feel like I want to give Nas a go, especially with the album that you recommended earlier.
Yeah.
But I felt like together, for me personally, it just didn't gel that well. So I'm actually going to give it, this album specifically, a 3 out of 10.
Sheesh.
Oh,
Sheesh.
a 3 for Greg's pile.
Collecting a pile of threes. First person to get a 2.
The other
is
ones
gonna
I
have the best
expected
time.
it, but not this one.
Go on,
Alright,
Zach.
Ben. Okay, me. All right.
Everyone.
No, that. Here's the
Not
thing.
yet.
Here's the thing. I don't like rap. Don't like reggae. Already said that. And combined, not my table. But and because it was on YouTube and with all the oh my god, everything was against this album. Having said that, I'm gonna keep fucking checking. If it was on Apple Music, I would have added Generations to my playlists. Is that what it's called? You said. And
My
that's another
generation.
reason why YouTube sucks,
know.
because it's just an hour block of video and it doesn't tell you what's going on.
Yeah, they added that new stuff recently to YouTube, didn't they? Where it's in segments and stuff.
Oh dear, dear oh dear. I don't feel right like reviewing this album, so I'm going to give it a undeserving 5 out of 10, middle of the hump, because god damn it, everything was against it. If it was on Apple Music though, I probably would have given it a 5 as well. 5 out of 10. Oh dear. God damn it. Next time we have an album that's not on Apple Music, I'm gonna
Kyle, you
turn
wanna go?
that block off.
Yeah, that's understandable.
Yeah, go on, Kyle.
Or just look on Spotify.
Yeah,
But
then
that's
you
got
get adverts
yeah.
anyway.
Yeah, if you don't
Yeah.
pay for it, then you got the advert. Yeah.
So yeah, I thought the message of this album was really cool. I felt like I really got like an actual history lesson in places and some real perspective. I put quite a tough one to rate for me because I started listening to this like 2 weeks ago. Obviously, this episode's come out late because real life shit happened. But yeah, I finished listening to it just today. I had to look at it critically as well, in the fact that I don't like reggae at all. I find it really dull, and I actually really enjoyed this. So that already has to bump it up a couple points. I've got 4 songs on the playlist, which are As We Enter, Count Your Blessings, Namin. Oh, I've actually got 5. My Generation and Africa Must Wake Up. I thought they were all quite good. Good hard-hitting meanings. Album's over an hour long, and I didn't feel like it dragged, which is really impressive because it's been an issue with a lot of the albums that we've listened to so far.
Maybe because you listened to it in 2
Quite
parts.
diverse. Yeah, but I only listened to 3 songs on the first way through, so you shouldn't think it matters that much. But yeah, definitely probably impacted it. It's very diverse. The beats are super diverse. Like, some of it's proper boom bap, some of it's proper dub, some of it's like quite electronic, some of it's got some spicy guitar in it. Like, you know, it doesn't get boring. And I'm gonna have to give Damian Marley's solo stuff a go. So yeah, 7 out of 10 for me. I thought it was quite good. Definitely some throwaway tracks, and I have to be in the right mood to listen to it and enjoy it. But yeah, it was a lot better than I thought it would be.
Cool. Go on, Greg.
All right. I'm probably a bit biased because I was already a fan of Nas. I actually haven't listened to much of Damian's solo stuff, but I probably will now. But I've been listening to this album in particular for a long time. I love every single track. I could listen to this album on repeat forever. It really, really is my thing. I think thematically it's really interesting. It's got a real nice sort of unifying message. Lyrically, it's nice. I can hardly fault it. I do have a couple favorite tracks. I prefer the more sort of intense, like less calm ones. So basically the first 3 songs, As We Enter, Tribes at War, and Strong Will Continue, are probably my favorites, as well as Namin. And actually I have a real soft spot for Land of Promise. I think that's a really cool song. But for me it's a 9 out of 10. I'm not gonna lie, I fucking love this album.
Fuck yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Hell
Right.
yeah.
Nice.
So, just one last final point about both of these albums. An interesting contrast how one of them, Distant Relatives, is quite steeped in a lot of sort of religion and like has a lot of, like, you know, references to like Babylon and everything like that, and it's all like quite religious in some parts. And then the other album we just reviewed is called No, I was just gonna say, and the other album that we reviewed is called No One Goes to Heaven.
Yeah.
So they couldn't be the furthest things apart.
Damn you, Greg. I was about to say, I can confirm there are no fecal demons in these albums.
Mate.
There might be a hidden reference, who knows?
So, here on this show, we want you to get involved as well. And we have a comment from Tuberculosis himself, TB. That's a joke that never gets old, apparently. He reviewed both of the albums. Click. Distant Relatives by Damian Marley and Nas. Styles seemed... Oh, fuck, I've already scrambled up my... What? Styles seemed hard to mesh at first, where it was almost a bit uncomfortable to listen to. Luckily, it grew on me as the album progressed. Tracks are very catchy, and Damian Marley does what he does best in his delivery, which is what Ben said, actually. It feels nourishing for the soul. It feels nourishing for the soul, for lack of a better term. Oh. Its vibe appears to be I can't do it, man. Fuck. Its vibe appears to be we've struggle, but we continue cause one day we'll get there. It's good summertime music. I'm not the greatest reggae or old school rap fan, but they are both some of the best artists in their respective genres, so after getting past the initial misgivings, it's hard for it to really go wrong. I can see there being a time where you'd want this vibe, and I can't think of too many other albums of which it would do better. 6 out of 10. There you are, you see.
Yeah, I mean, you are right. Like, there really aren't many albums like this one for sure. Like, I mean, how
It's
many?
definitely unique for sure.
Yeah.
There's like rap tracks with reggae features or elements on them, but I don't know of any full albums that do it. So yeah.
Yeah, it's like a full exploration in this album of the relation between the two.
It's so
Yeah, and I
unique.
think we really understated like how important both, obviously, Marley and Nas are in both their fields, in both reggae and hip hop. They're both like icons of their genres. So, sure, having them both on one album's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I never really thought about it. If you are a fan of both these genres, like Greg is, like that was probably pretty sick. That's kind of like Smash Bros or something, like Cloud getting in Smash or something.
Exactly.
All right.
Do you want me
Next
to read
one.
out the second one?
No, I'll give it another shot. Fuck it. No One Goes to
on,
Heaven
I
by
believe.
Left Behind. I'm not very clued up on this genre, so this might come across as me calling them out for what the genre is meant to be. Hopefully not. It's very heavy and with chugging riffs and blunt force delivery. It seems like mood music, and I was kinda tired and nowhere near angry enough listening to it. The vocals are crying out for literally any tiny amount of variety. I can't.
Big true.
They aren't
Big
very
true.
clear, and they aren't very clear, and that makes the lyricism basically impenetrable. Staring at the sun was a bit easier to get a grasp of, and was therefore my favourite track. Found myself nodding along, so clearly they're doing something right instrumentally. I just found it a bit dull and lifeless. Maybe I missed the point of this one. 4 out of 10.
Oh, fair.
Yeah. I mean, this is definitely not Tim's kind of music for people.
No,
that know.
definitely not.
No,
Well, he liked the hell, didn't he?
he did, but that's because it's like upbeat and silly. You know, like, I feel like that kind of doesn't take itself too seriously.
Yeah, Tim's
And-
kind of
and-
metal is thrash, and thrash doesn't
Yeah.
take itself seriously, like for the most part. Depends what band, I suppose. Actually,
Yeah,
but...
I'm gonna have to agree with everything he said, really.
Yeah, he said the exact same thing.
I
about the
adamantly disagree, and I'm very personally offended.
I heard Ben go gritting his teeth when I read out that.
Like, everything is fair enough. Like, obviously, if it's not, it's at the end of the day, it's taste. If it's not your cup of tea, it's not your cup of tea.
No, it's shit. Objectively.
objectively terrible.
It's objectively terrible.
Oh, thank you
Ben, Tim,
so
as
much.
always.
Thanks, Tim.
Yeah.
We're gonna get you on in the next few episodes at some point.
Hell yeah,
So
we're
think
gonna
of
have
what you
definitely
want
have
to
first
review.
guest.
Yeah, definitely.
well, next week's albums, I have got the dice. I will get the D4. Ben, you guys trust me again, right? I'm sure you do. Everyone
Always.
trusts me. Ben, 1. Me, 2. Greg, 3. Kyle, 4. 4. And 4. Well done, Kyle. You get no. And 1.
Oi.
Kyle and Ben.
Oh my god.
So,
okay.
Ooh.
what are we listening to next week, Kyle?
We're listening to a jazz mainstay. I was tossed up between 2 absolutely iconic classic jazz albums. Couldn't decide if I wanted to do an instrumental or a vocal one, so I just went with my gut and said we're going to do a vocal based one. And it is Sarah Vaughan's second album. It's very confusing, don't get confused by this. Her first album's called Sarah Vaughan. Her second album is also called Sarah Vaughan. So look for the second one, it's from 1954. It's also known as Sarah Vaughan with Clifford Brown, who is a trumpet player, and he features on this album. Her voice is just...
I hate it already.
Does
Dude,
she
it's
have like
fucking
album
amazing.
artwork? Is there an album artwork and stuff that you can describe?
It's her on the front cover.
Sick. Let's
The
go.
first album has like... The first album that you don't want to listen to has like a really psychedelic front cover. The one you
Right.
want is just it's just her face. I'll link it to you
Jesus
guys.
fuck.
So,
Yeah.
She has an album called 101 Hits with literally 101 songs on it.
dude, she
Fucking
was going from
Jeez.
52 all the way up till 2010 or something. She
She's
didn't
got a
stop.
million albums. God
Yeah,
damn.
dude, she was hella prolific.
Damn.
She's
Damn.
absolutely fantastic. Her voice is amazing. It's like fucking gravy for my ears.
Alright.
Gravy.
But yeah, who is the other one? Was it Ben?
Ben, yeah, Ben.
Yeah.
What are we listening to next week?
So I'm gonna steer clear from, because I think the past 2 albums now have been like really heavy vocals. So I think I will need a little bit of a variation in there. And this is an album that I've actually wanted to speak about for a while. And it is quite a mainstream one as well. It is Favorite Worst Nightmare by Arctic Monkeys.
Oh hell yeah, dude. It's a jam.
Okay.
So in the relatively alternative rock, Arctic Monkeys, Favorite Worst Nightmare. That's their 3rd album, I believe. 3rd. So
Well, as an avid Arctic
oh-
Monkeys fan, yes, it is their 3rd album, I believe. Yeah.
if you've heard most of
3
their
of them.
biggest songs, it's probably on this one, so that they're quite recognizable. But yeah, looking forward to listening again and giving it a review.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah,
I've been
dude,
thinking
sounds
about
bad.
choosing an album that, like, Number of the Beast by Iron Maiden comes to mind. I'm like, I just want to listen to that album again. And
Yeah,
just something like that. Do you know what I mean? Like Paranoid, Black Sabbath. Just so yeah, it's cool that you picked out quite a popular band. You know, there's a lot
one
of
that was,
stuff
like,
we've
really
listened
heavy
to
that I-
right now. It's been quite niche, not niche, but you know what I mean.
yeah, for sure.
I don't think Nas
Yeah,
and Damian
yeah.
Marley are niche, but
I'm psyched for next
Well, that
week's
album is-
episode now. They're
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah, this should be interesting. I'm literally just looking through Sarah Vaughan's albums, and she's got so many. What is happening?
Yeah, dude.
I'm at the year 2000 now, and I've been scrolling this whole time.
Yeah,
God.
yeah, she was super prolific, and
On
also the other thing.
Spotify.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're on Spotify. The other thing with jazz musicians, especially back then, is they do a hell of a lot of covers. So there's like a lot of traditional jazz songs that like every jazz singer will have done. So it's like, for example, Billie Holiday.
Basin Street Blues and
Yeah, like Billie Holiday has a version of Tenderly, and Sarah Vaughan also has a version of Tenderly. And I'm pretty sure like Ella Fitzgerald also has a version of Tenderly. So you know, there's just some mainstays in jazz that they all have their own version of.
all right.
Love Ella
You're
Fitzgerald
actually
so
going to
much.
have to link me this album because I cannot find it.
Yeah, I'll do it. Sick.
Yeah.
All right, so we all ready to go then?
Yeah.
Thank you very much for listening to the 8th episode of CHUBCast, boys and girls. You know next week's albums now. They are Sarah Vaughan's 1954 self-titled album and Arctic Monkeys' 3rd album, Favorite Worst Nightmare. If you want to get involved, please comment on the YouTube video on the Chubbed Band channel, or email us at chubbedband@gmail.com, or tweet us using the hashtag ChubView. Leave us a short review of either of those albums, and we'll read it out like we did your boy TB's and discuss them. Thank you for listening, and say the line, Zach.
Hell yeah! Not only that, you can find next week's albums down and pinned in the comments section and in the description, in case you can't find the album itself. But if this video podcast gave you a chub,